What up? It's Grandpa MC coming at you with another video. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's take a ride for a little bit. Alright, man. Ace Bailey, man. Man, this is a story that has been repeated over and over and over again in NBA draft history and young player history. Like, these guys, a lot of these young guys, if they don't have the right people around them, giving them good advice, telling them to, you whatever you did before the draft really has no bearing. That's just your resume being played out. But a lot of these guys, these young guys, get told that they're the man. They're a superstar. You shouldn't take this, you shouldn't take that. It's been gotten to the point. Well, it's not as bad as it could be. But this Ace Bailey thing is an interesting situation, because apparently he's getting advice from, I guess, somebody's uncle or maybe his uncle. But this guy has had a client. He had a client before, from what I understand. I could be wrong. I'm just repeating off my dome what I saw earlier today. But apparently he gave some other young player some bad advice, and he over there in China making his way. But don't think this whole situation wasn't kind of like discussed, as we found out recently. Like, the NFL's come under fire for colluding. So Ace Bailey blew off a bunch of workouts, basically put out there he didn't want to, his people put out there that he wanted to be put in a situation where he was going to have the fastest track to stardom, which is a terrible statement to start off with, because I'm just saying from what I've seen, and even the highlights, it's been better highlights I've seen as this thing's going on, because I knew of him, I heard of him before all this, but now I'm really kind of like paying attention to what type of player he is and all that. He looks like a Brandon, what's that guy that did drafted by Charlotte last year? Brandon Miller, I think that's his name. So he's in a very precarious position, because apparently he didn't fly to Utah like yesterday after he got drafted with his draft mate, another guy that got drafted by Utah, and he didn't get on the plane. He's gonna hold out. My man, you are not gonna be able to fight against the league on this. Believe. Right now, the Utah Jazz is like Siberia. So if you get sent to Utah, you playing in Utah, you gonna have a long season, because they're not even anywhere close to competing for a championship. Nowhere close. It looked like they just okay with treading water. Utah used to be a major power in the Western Conference, even though they wasn't winning titles. They were penciled in like for 50 plus wins every year, just about, up until a couple of years ago. Like, even when Jerry Sloan got canned because of Darren Williams, Utah still was in the mix. But now, the last 4 or 5 years, and you going to Utah. Oh, ever since Donovan Mitchell left. I put it that way. Ever since Donovan Mitchell left, they've been mediocre. So don't think that they were talking. They weren't talking. And I could be wrong. This is just speculation on my part. But the owner said, okay, you don't want to get drafted by certain teams. We're gonna put you in, we're gonna put you right where you need to be. And he get drafted by Utah. Look on his face, man. He looked like he was about to cry. And not for the happiness. He looked like he was about to cry, man. But I hope this young man takes control of the situation. Say, look, I might not like it, but I'm gonna report and make the best out of it. If Donovan Mitchell and Karl Malone can make it in Utah, man, you can too. And it might be it's more than likely a blessing in disguise, because in Utah he could totally concentrate on basketball. Even though those women gonna be out there, don't think Utah is might be, the selection might not be as varied as say LA. But they probably got some women out there, some groupies. Karl Malone was out there chilling. So yeah, man. Just say he don't report. And say he ain't gonna budge. What leverage does he have? What leverage does he have? He doesn't have too much leverage. And if he hold out, then you putting yourself on ice for an extended period of time where you're not developing. So I mean, he just might as well go and report. Now, if he report, they might be like, hey, well, since you know, we don't really have too many plans for you, like, we're gonna try to move you. That possibly could be happening, because there's a couple other teams that wanted him, but ever since he was talking crazy with his people, we'll say that his people was talking crazy, they was like, well, you know, hey, we'll let you have it, Holmes. This is the story every year. Like every year, what about that dude? A lot of these guys that, you know, get bad advice, and they either declare too early, or they should stay in college for 4 years and develop and become a solid pro instead of trying to become a superstar. So we'll see how this goes, man. But it was reports of a couple of other draftees that weren't too happy about their selection. If you a pretty good player, and you go to the league and they drafting, the team you going to is probably bad. The higher draft pick you are, in certain situations where, you know, a team that's in contention can maneuver and get a high draft pick or whatever. But I think Ace Bailey might be stuck, and if he is, he just might as well realize that and, you know, keep it moving. But yeah, man, that's all I got on my chest about the situation about Ace Bailey, man. Like, report, dog. That's all I can say. Report, dog. It'll turn out good later on. Peace out.